Yes, it is Live 105. Pete Marr here. Happy Easter, and my present to you all, Bay Area, is, well, to chat it up with Matt and Dominic from Muse. People forget that you've been a band pretty much as a cohesive unit for like 15 years now, pretty much, right?
Well, that's close. Probably about 11, 12 maybe, who knows? It's getting on, yeah, time flies.
Yeah, how do you perceive the change and growth of, as a band and also as individuals?
It's been a long journey. Well, it's obviously been a load of changes. I mean, we actually genuinely were kind of kids when we started, you know, so right. I think it's difficult to know whether... You know, I think it's a case of just us growing up as well as people. That's just happened anyway. But you know, the difference between being 16 and 26, whatever, we changed loads during that period. And actually 28 though. But you know, yeah, things have changed both personally and musically. I think you can probably hear that. I think with all the albums we've made, all the songs we've done, I think you can probably hear just the difference between us growing up. You know.
And when you play those songs live, or I guess the older tracks, when you play them live, do you still have that same intensity, that same you know, passion when you play those songs?
I think there's only a few of the really old songs that have survived, I think, in our set list, and I think they're songs that have had some kind of longevity, or they're songs that have been able to be reinterpreted in a way that kind of makes sense with what we're doing now, you know. So I think there's only really sort of maybe three songs off the first album that we'd probably still be comfortable playing now, you know.
When you compile that many songs over this amount of time, how do you pick which songs to put in the set list?
They kind of, you know, rotate over periods of months. I think, you know, it's some tracks you realise that you haven't actually played for maybe even a year, but when you bring it back round, you play them in a very different way and think about them in a very different way. But you know, we try and change it up every show. Really, there's normally like a core group of tracks that we keep there, and its majority is the new stuff, really. But kind of rotate it around just to keep it fresh, you know.
And after this small little West Coast jaunt, you're going to be teaming up with My Chemical Romance.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. Yeah, we're looking forward to that. Good band, nice guys. We just did a few dates with them over in Australia as well. We did like a big day out tour. It was a really good fun tour.
What kind of effect do you think your music will have on My Chemical Romance fans?
You know, take them to a higher level.
Wow.
No, I'm joking. I think it will. Maybe it will. Sorry. No, it will probably show something. The English take on rock. On this album, there's a bit of an attempt to bring some electronic elements into what we do, you know, because we're not really familiar with all that kind of stuff. So we sort of went back to the basics of some of the early '80s when people first started bringing synths into music, you know. And I thought we listened to quite a lot of stuff, really, and I think that kind of started to creep in there, and we ended up sounding a bit like that. I think there's a couple of tracks with this album. Yeah, we wanted to make people, as you know, there's some tracks which are made to make people sort of, you know, get their elbows out and mosh a bit, you know, and we also want to have a few tracks where people kind of dance without hurting each other.
So the album's been out for a while. What do you do when you're on the road? Are you writing new material?
Yeah, we do bits and pieces here and there, but to be honest, we're just kind of concentrating on keeping our minds on the straight and narrow, keeping it focused. It's easy to lose it out there.
Yeah,
it's a world of hurt. But it's you know, it can be fun.
You got to keep it pretty solid when you're doing bigger shows.
Yeah,
as well. You know, it's quite a lot of responsibility that you've got to figure out with all the production and everything. And it seems like on this album so far we've done about 4 or 5 different productions. So it's always changing. Every tour's different, and you know, that's always in the back of your mind.
It's easy to get lost in shanty towns in Indonesia, you know? and then realise you're on the edge of losing
your mind.
Also, we end up in some of these weird sort of after hours type places in people's flats, and you know.
Oh really?
Yeah.
And what do you do in these flats?
you know, lots of girls with long nails offering weird things underneath their nails.
I read on some website or something that you're actually engaged. Is this true?
No. What?
No.
Yes. What?
Yes.
Who's that?
Okay.
What? Personal? Personal?
Right. You're on tour, right?
Take it easy. Keep it light.
If you had a bucket to fill with food, and that'd be the food that you would eat for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Penne pasta with the herb wrapping.
Wow, that's pretty elaborate.
Maybe sushi, you know.